Hi friends, welcome back to Black Cat Folk Magic. All kind people are welcome here. Um, I hope everyone's having a wonderful spring so far for those of you who are having spring. um, it is really, really nice here and I'm enjoying it so much. Everything feels new and fresh and like there are so many possibilities in the world. And I think that's the energy that a lot of us need to feel right now, right? All right, today we're going to talk about um, something that you're not seeing about yourself. Maybe it's something on your shadow side. Maybe it's just something that um, in the course of your habits during the day, you don't really make time to look for this thing. You know, it may just be something that you just missed. We all have our blind spots, right? So we're going to dig into that today. And as always, I have three groups to choose from. We have group one with Speak Your Mind. We have group two with Affirmation for Growth. And we have group three with Listening to Wisdom. All right, choose your group and I'll see you in your reading. Hi there, group one. You chose Speak Your Truth. All right, let's get into it and see what you're not seeing about yourself. I'm going to start out with some oracle cards. The Eel and Iris with Safety. Mm. We have Sad News. Okay, I'm already getting that you have this mistaken belief that it's safer if you don't cause waves. It's safer if you don't speak up. And Spirit wants you to know that is a fallacy. You are absolutely not safer. Um, in fact, people see you as more of a target if you're not willing to speak up for yourself. Also, it's passive aggressive because um, people don't know the truth about who they're dealing with or how you feel or what your needs are. And they can't guess them, you know? So expecting people to have um, a full grown up relationship with you when you won't speak your truth is sort of impossible because who are they having a relationship with? You know, if they're not having a relationship with someone who's open and honest about their thoughts and feelings. But with the safety, I'm seeing you somehow you've been led to believe that not speaking up and just going with the flow is going to keep you safe. And Spirit is saying that is absolutely not true. So let's get into your tarot and see how this applies. I heard you have more to say than you think you do. Maybe you feel like you're not qualified to speak up about something. We have Queen of Wands. I love the Queen of Wands. She's my favorite card. These both wanted to come out. Ooh, sorry. Sorry about that. We have Two of Cups. And I think maybe that was, me hitting the tripod is like, your world is going to be shaken up a little bit. But for the best, always. We have the Moon. We have the Star. We have the Fool. There's so much, friend. There's so much in your shadow self that you are not familiar with yet. It's not wrong to access the darker, less happier parts of yourself to get to the truth of who you are. I mean, I'm not saying live there. I'm not saying camp out in those negative thoughts. But what I'm saying is to understand yourself as a whole. You need to be on both sides. You need to explore your, happy side, and you need to explore your sad side, and you need to explore your strong side, and you need to explore your weak side. All of that is a part of who you are. And one part of it isn't more or less valuable than the other part. They're all very important because they're all part of you. And so Spirit is saying what you're not seeing is that there's this whole other world of you. There's this whole other part of you that you just don't know yet. And you feel very empowered. You feel like you have a good handle on things, and you do on a certain side of yourself. But there's an undercurrent of something going on that is not in your control, simply because you haven't made friends with it yet. And just because it's something intimidating, something a little darker than you're used to, doesn't mean that you should ignore it. In fact, that does mean that you should bring it as close to you as possible and understand it as much as possible. Okay? When you start exploring that and start becoming friends with that, I'm showing that a whole new life starts for you. Everything just broadens. The world is much bigger. The brights are much brighter, the darks are much darker, but it's all a complex mechanism, and you can see all sides of it. And it's better to know what's going on than to guess or to ignore, Let's see where this is leading you. There's also going to be a lot of healing here, in this. So, like places where you thought you were stuck or things that just weren't going to happen for you in this life, they'll start to open up because you gave them a way in. Okay? We have the sun. Yeah. This is, you've heard the expression, the only way out is through. It's kind of like that. But this is going to be well worth it. I know you're afraid of revisiting painful times, but ignoring them is not going to help you in any way, shape, or form. But making friends with them will help you see their importance. What is it that they're trying to teach you? What is it it's trying to teach you about yourself? And you can take that information and move forward with more knowledge and knowing better how to operate your craft, which is you. Seven of Wands. You may not feel up to the fight, but I implore you to look at this as not a fight against the dark or something like that. I'm imploring you to look at this as integrating all sides of yourself into a whole. Okay? You have Two of Swords. You really need an exchange of these energies to understand. You really can't understand one without the other. And Ten of Swords. It will put to bed so many things that work against you subconsciously. Doing this shadow work will help you lay down old burdens. It will help you heal old wounds, wounds that you haven't even identified yet because you haven't gone exploring and making friends with this side of yourself. It's still holding on to this information, and it's sending it to you in ways that you can't address because it's sort of subliminal, So the trick is to bring that stuff up to the surface and work through it. Kind of like untangling knots. And, gently, a little at a time. There's no need to go into this fast and loose. Go go into it with an understanding of what you're doing, and that you might run into frustration and you might run into some scary truths. But ultimately, it's going to lead you to where you need to be. It's going to lead you to the peace that you deserve. All right. Well, I hope this resonated with you, and I really hope it helped you. And I'll see you in the next reading. Take care. Hey there, Group 2. You chose affirmation for growth. All right. Let's see what you're not seeing about yourself. I'm going to start out with an oracle card. We have the crow and dogwood with intelligence. And we have a military. Okay, right away I'm seeing that I'm going to get into your tarot because I have a couple of ideas here and I don't want to make assumptions. So let's get into your tarot about what you're not seeing about yourself. The High Priestess. The Hierophant. The Seven of Pentacles. The Six of Pentacles. The King of Cups. Spirit wants you to understand that as smart, as brilliant as you are, you can't intellectualize everything. Some things you have to feel. Okay? I read a thing the other day that was something like, emotions are like having kids in the car. You don't want to let them drive, but you can't shove them in the trunk either. And I feel like some of you are shoving those feelings in the trunk while like manifesting growth, right? And bless you, Howie. And that's my cat who has seasonal allergies. And you want to manifest this growth, this internal growth, but you want to intellectualize everything. And Spirit is saying, that's not the way it works. You've got to integrate everything. There's a lot of this in group 1 about integration of both sides of yourself. But the difference with this one is Spirit is really saying that right now, don't expect that to be an immediate process. Okay? You need to sit in the discomfort of discovering both parts of yourself, right? You know, the feelings and the intellect, you know, the spiritual side and the practical side. You really need to maybe not so much try to figure them all out right now as just to sit in the discomfort of them, in the unorganized discomfort of them while they start popping up, and you can see what's there, so you can see what you're working with. Okay? I think you feel like you have it all under control and you really like that about yourself. And that's a great thing to like about yourself. But Spirit is saying there's more to like about yourself, and let's get to know it, okay? And I think you maybe see things as linear. a lot of the times. Like, okay, I go to school, I do my homework, I get good grades, I go to college, I get a job, I find a spouse, I have children, I have a home, I have grandchildren. There's this order in which everything is done. And Spirit is saying, yeah, that can be true. Um, but that also makes you miss out on a lot of things that life is about. That structure is just made up. There's nothing real about that. Okay? So Spirit is saying, maybe, I know you like to be above board, and I know you like to do things by the letter, but Spirit is saying, why don't we try to invest in our spiritual side a little bit? Maybe not try to intellectualize everything that happens to us. Maybe a sign is just a sign. Maybe it's not, well, some people, okay, let me think of an example. Some people take like seeing 1111 on a clock as a sign that they're on the right path or something. Whether that's true or not depends on the person and depends on their worldview, right? Because some people may just be like, well, I've made a habit out of looking up at that specific time, so now I see it all the time. Or, some way of intellectualizing it. But some people see it as like magic. Oh, the universe is telling me this is magically the way it's supposed to go, and I should have blind faith in that. And then there are people who are integrated. And there's nothing wrong with any of these strategies, by the way. I'm just telling you what Spirit wants you to explore. And then there are people who are integrated who are saying, yes, it may be that I formed a habit of looking up at the clock at 11:11 without realizing it. But also, maybe that Spirit's way of reminding me that I am on the right path and I'm being taken care of spiritually. It's a reminder. Both things can be true. You can have magic and science in the same thing. You can have intelligence and magic in the same experience. There's no reason why you can't. Other than, a lot of people tell you can't. And if you're working out of your ego, you worry about what those people think about you. Working out of your ego is not going to get you anywhere. Okay? So really invest in this side of yourself that starts seeing, oh, I'm working in tandem with the universe. The universe and I are not separate things. You're the universe showing up as itself. Okay? You're the universe getting to know itself. You're not separate from that. And so learning to integrate this and sitting in the discomfort of, maybe I don't know every damn thing. Maybe I just need to observe and learn for a little while. And you'll probably learn a lot more than you think you will. Just give it a chance. Give it a chance. Become partners with the universe instead of trying to be separate from it. Okay? Work together with each other. All right? Okay. I hope this was helpful. I hope it resonated. And I'll see you next time. Take care. Hey there, Group 3. Welcome to your reading. You chose Listening to Wisdom. Okay. Let's start with an oracle card to see what part of yourself you're just not seeing. We have the Badger and Ginkgo healing wounds. We have a rich girl. Okay, let's get into your tarot and see what's going on. We have the Fool. Start at the very beginning, a very good place to start. Ooh, we have the Queen of Swords. We have the Eight of Cups. We have Death. We have Ace of Cups. Okay, Spirit wants you to see that you're avoiding that you're avoidant. Okay. You want to get from one side of something to the other as quickly and painlessly as possible. And Spirit is saying, listen, that's not the point of life. The point of life is traveling on those mountains and in those valleys. It's the whole thing, okay? And you're saying, you know, I've got to get to this Ace of Cups. I've got to get to this wellspring of abundance and love and beauty as quickly as possible, which I totally understand. I mean, we're human beings. The Spirit is saying this isn't the real reward. Believe it or not, this is part of the reward. This is part of the experience. And you're trying to, run through the desert so you can rest here. When Spirit is saying, if you take your time in the desert and you understand what the desert is for and what it's doing for you, then when you get here, it'll be all the richer. Okay? Don't try to fast forward through the painful parts. I'm not saying linger there by any stretch of the imagination. No, no, friend. I want you to be happy. I want you to be sitting here. But what I'm saying is, if you don't get everything you're supposed to get from this lesson, okay, when you get here, you might not appreciate it appropriately. And not only that, if you don't appreciate it appropriately, you might lose it and end up back here until you learn what this is about. Understand that things work for you, not against you. Things aren't happening to you, things are happening for you. Okay? So anything that you go through that might seem painful is so that you can sit in this wonderful oasis, having learned your lessons, having the satisfaction of knowing you did the best you could, of having the satisfaction of knowing that you learned every lesson you possibly could out of this. And now you can stay there. You have the wisdom to know how to maintain this. Whereas if you just skip through these hard things, you don't have that wisdom and you could fall back into it, right? The whole thing is a journey, and every part of that journey is important. Okay? I need you to feel everything you feel and then let it go. Learn what you can from it and then let it go. And that's how you get to a place where you're unbothered. That's how you get to a place where you're relaxed. It's not that these things stop happening. What happens is you know how to maintain this in the face of these hardships. Okay? And so that's what you're working toward. Because there's no such thing as like reaching a point where magically nothing bad happens. You're reaching a point where you can handle whatever it is that happens, okay? So I'm really urging you to feel things. I'm really urging you to confront things. Um, make it count when you're going through it. I don't mean wallow. I mean, I want you to keep moving. I want you to keep going towards this thing. But I don't want you to, fast forward through this so you don't learn anything. It's really important that you learn these lessons so you can stay in this wonderful state of mind, okay? All right. Well, I hope that resonated with you. I hope it helped you, and I'll see you next time. Take care.